All right, let's adjust the mics now. Hello, Ruth Ann.
Hello, Troy.
Hello back.
Hey,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm good. Give me some talk.
I am giving you some talk. I gave some talk before, too. Gave you a little lip.
Yeah, you do. Definitely give me lip. There's no doubt about it. Okay, so shit, I should just do the podcast from here. Huh? Let everybody know how you just admitted you give me lip.
I gave you lip. I didn't say I give you lip. I gave you some just a little bit ago.
That's actually funny. I'm actually starting the podcast like this.
Go for it.
I am. This way, the audience, the ones they write in because they love little Ruth Ann, they think she's so innocent to everything. I think maybe
we did not get any of those kind of.
Well, I'm thinking people are thinking. Okay, so we haven't officially got that letter yet, but I'm thinking possibly the people are thinking that you're innocent of everything, and you just admitted literally that you give lip. So, lippy girl,
I said that I gave you lip.
Yeah,
a little bit ago.
You give me trouble, believe me. All right, so trucking.
That's what we're here for, not my lips.
All right. Real quick, just wanted to. We told a story last week about a driver that had been killed in a truck accident.
Right.
And I didn't get quite, because it was like a really kind of choked up video. In fact, or not video, but podcast. There was a lot of people that wrote in that said, hey, really, I'm sorry about the driver. Rest in peace. I mean, really, we got a lot of emails. And so, but I never got to finish because, like I said, it was a little bit of an emotional podcast. So I never got to finish and tell everybody how he was killed. And I wanted to just kind of mention when he had left home, in the story, it said that he was on that blind curb that was mentioned. The curve, rather. And what happened was he was going out, away from home, and another driver in a four-wheeler had been flying around the curve and went into his lane. And he literally, I guess, you don't know what is on his mind, but he swerved away, and basically saved the guy's life, ended up going over a bank and wrecking, and that's how he was killed. So sad time in the podcast, and I wanted to let everybody know, what actually had played out in that accident. But yes, to everybody, thank you for all the emails and the messages on Facebook and everything you guys have sent us. We surely appreciate everybody that writes in all the time. Ruth Ann, onward we go. Moving on to this week.
What's up with this week?
How about we take a break first? Drivers, if you're looking for a local, home, everyday driving job, apply with Carter Lumber today. They have positions for Class A and Class B local drivers. They can take experienced drivers, students, and non-CDL drivers. With over 160 locations, chances are they have a position for you. So go to carterlumber.com/talkcdl and apply today. Again, that's carterlumber.com/talkcdl. Thank you. Hey drivers, are you sick of watching the other drivers bypass the weigh station while you are held up going through yourself? Well, download Drivewyze today at www.drivewyze.com. That's DRIVEWYZE.com, and start bypassing the scales yourself. If you're a small carrier, an owner-operator, or even a big fleet looking for something better, check out Drivewyze today. And remember, there's no equipment, no transponders needed when you're using Drivewyze. Check them out for a free download at www.drivewyze.com. All right, we are back, Ruth Ann. So I wanted to bring something up, which is pretty cool. You know what the PSP is now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the PSP is a program that is used by DOT that is a reporting service by all your DOT accidents, inspections, and even driver tickets, Ruth Ann,
Right.
go on the PSP, whether it's a ticket or a warning.
Did you mention inspections, like when they just get a regular inspection?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when a driver gets an inspection, and why is that a good thing, actually? So let's talk about it. But actually, I wanted to mention, and we'll bring that up here in just a second, inspections. But I wanted to mention, here's what it says. It says the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration is now offering a free pre-employment screening program monitoring service that will let drivers know of any changes made to their safety records. So it's important for a driver to know what's on their PSP, their reporting service, especially when they're going to get a job.
Well, yeah, it's important.
Right. It says the FMCSA recently announced that drivers only can sign up for an optional, free monitoring service that will send an email to a driver at any time their PSP record changes. Drivers, I recommend this for every one of you. According to the FMCSA, that to enroll in the service, drivers will need to log into PSP and go to the driver dashboard, then click on Enroll in PSP Monitoring. The PSP report is a safety record maintained by the FMCSA that includes a truck driver's 5-year crash and 3-year roadside inspection history, what you just brought up.
Yes.
The FMCSA says the PSP is designed to assist the motor carrier industry in assessing individual operators' crash and serious safety violation history as a pre-employment condition. It says the PSP record displays the motor carrier for which the driver was operating for at the time of the crash or inspection. Now, why is that important for drivers? First off, it really should let a driver know. There are so many reports. You know what's funny about truckers, Ruth Ann? It's so regulated. It's unbelievable.
I know. I mean, you have not only your MVR, but your PSP also.
And your higher right, which is DAC. You have 10th Street. All these companies keep... I'm telling you, a driver's history is worse than herpes. It never leaves you. They say herpes is with you for life.
I know, but...
You don't like the comparison?
No, I really don't. I don't think drivers like the comparison either.
I'm just saying, remember Eddie Murphy said it's like luggage, never leaves you. But anyways,
I don't remember that either, but that's okay.
What I'm getting at, though, is drivers, it's like there's no hiding nothing. If you've worked for a company and you get an inspection while you're driving for that company, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say you drive for a company and you have a falling out with them. Maybe you're there, say, 3 weeks, and you get into an argument. Maybe you abandon the truck. Maybe you get into a fight. Maybe you do something really stupid, and you know, if I put these people down on my job history, they're going to give me a really bad reference, and I probably won't get another job, or I'll have a hard time getting a job. And so you leave this particular company off of your resume. Because you're a trucker and you're so regulated, everybody wants to know your business. I'm just saying, it's just crazy. Because you're a truck driver and because of reporting services like the PSP and like DAC and like 10th Street and everything that goes on your record, it's hard to hide these things. So what happens is a carrier, you apply with a carrier for a job, and they run what's called the PSP, and that 3-week company you worked at, they see, oh, he had an inspection with this particular company, but he didn't put it down on his resume. And so then they pick up the phone and they call that company, and then the company says, well, here's why he's not here, we fired him, whatever the case is. I'm just saying, this is one of the reasons why to keep your nose clean in this industry, Ruth Ann.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of reasons why PSP came around, and one of them is because they wanted to be able to make the driver accountable for his pre-trips and his post-trips. And that was one of the reasons why they wanted to, because if you think about it, half the time with a driver would say, oh, well, I left them because their equipment was so poor. Well, these inspections in the past, the company paid for the inspections, or they were supposed to, and any fines that they had gotten for those types of things, or the overweights, the company was supposed to help the driver by paying for them. Well, now that generally doesn't happen because the driver is supposed to be taking care of that. And they wanted the drivers to be accountable for making sure that the equipment was operatable, drivable in a very smart way.
Or legally.
Yes.
So, okay, I didn't know where you were going with that. So what you're saying is the part of it was designed to keep the companies in check by fining or giving the drivers a bad inspection instead of the company itself. Even though the company still gets part of it, the driver now is risking his own references and records by driving for a company with bad. Yeah, I get what you're saying there. But what I'm really, and I want to go back to where I was at here, the PSP, the new alerting system that they're doing is a good thing for a driver, because now a driver is aware. See, most of these drivers, when they apply for a job, they're not aware what everybody's saying about them. They're not aware what is being found in their name.
Right.
And many drivers I've talked to over the years, they fill out an application, and let's just say, for example, they put 5 jobs down in the last 3 years. Well, you pull their DAC record, which is higher right, and you pull their PSP, and then you call the driver back and you say, hey, there's 3 other jobs you didn't put down. ABC Company, DEF Company, and Billy Bob's Trucking. You never put them down on your application, but it shows you were inspected, right? So the company has had access to that. Now, the driver, if he signs up for these free alerts, every time there's a change on his PSP record, he's going to get an alert email. And he's going to, for example, he'll go in the email if he just was inspected by, say he was pulled over in Kansas and he was inspected a roadside. Probably that day or whenever it goes into the system, okay, it goes on.
Maybe within 30 days.
Yeah, whatever the case is. If it's, and I don't know how quickly it goes, it depends on the inspecting officer, I guess, till they put it in the system. But once it goes in that system, the driver's now going to get an alert. So he'll know, okay, and I'm not trying to teach drivers how to cheat on their application, but at the same time, they could better themselves by knowing, okay, this is already on my inspection. The company's going to know that I work there. So you might as well, put it down in your
prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared, whether it be. And here's another thing. There's been times where I've talked to drivers and they worked for, say, Troy's Trucking, right?
Yeah.
Well, then after they do, after with PSP or whatever, they never really know that Troy's Trucking was also DBAing, doing business as Austin Trucking, where all of the, which would be like the mother company, and then that had its own DOT. So they never realized that the DOT number or the MC number was a slightly different, underneath a different company, because, they just never really knew that, because sometimes companies don't tell them, especially some of these smaller ones, that they might have, everything licensed underneath one company, but they have all these little umbrellas underneath it. And drivers never knew that. But you got to think of the PSP being like a credit report. You will not know every single thing on it unless you pay attention to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's and what's I wrote down here. This now, it can help you or can hurt you. Mm-hmm. So we just mentioned how it can hurt you if you mess up at a company and you don't put them down in your application. It's going to hurt you because when they pull your PSP, they're going to see it anyways. But here's how it can help you. And you just mentioned one of the ways it can help you, but here's another one. A lot of these like little companies that drivers work for, right? They go out of business, and maybe maybe you were there as a 1099 driver and you don't have tax records even, or whatever the case is. Okay.
Right.
Or maybe, here's another example. Maybe the company isn't getting back to you, maybe the company won't return a reference to the company. You now will be able to go on PSP, right? And know, okay, this company went out of business, but I was inspected there. So now the company that's trying to hire you, they can see that, yes, you did work there. They can check the clearinghouse, which is another good thing. Even though the clearinghouse is really taking a lot of people out smoking weed, it's also a good thing because it shows, companies that you can, if you know that you did a drug screen for a company and you have that down on your application, you sign off on it and it'll show, whether you had any drug failures or not. And so you'll know, because now it's not the trucking company that has to report any drug failures, it's the doctor. Therefore, knowing in the last so many years, that also would be in there if you failed a drug screen. So I know, and the reason I say it is because companies need to get accident reports and they need to get drug and alcohol history on each driver. But if you can prove, okay, in the PSP, it shows he worked for ABC company, and when we look in his clearinghouse, there's no drug failure under ABC company. So obviously we know he didn't have any failed drug screens at that company. You can put 2 and 2 together and hire the guy in that respect.
Right. Especially like some of these drivers that they paid me with cash. I didn't get pay stubs.
Right.
I didn't get any of this. This kind of was under the table type of situation. But if you're inspected, you do show that you did work there. So
drivers, and I want to move on here. So what my advice is, go and sign up on your go to your PSP. Okay, go to your dashboard, and like I said, just click on the enroll button and go ahead and enroll to be able to and sign up for any alerts to your personal PSP record, whether it be an inspection or whether. The other thing is, just so you know, a lot of times trucking companies will run your MVR and they won't see a speeding ticket on there, right? But maybe you got a warning, all right, from a trooper, and believe it or not, it goes in the PSP almost every damn time. So now you're thinking, I got a clean record. I don't got any tickets. But then somebody runs your PSP and they see, oh my gosh, this guy's got 2 15 over warnings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So drivers, just letting you know, everybody's watching you. And this is just another way for you guys at least to be aware, okay, of what's going on and what people are saying about you. Ruth Ann, moving on. Moving on. Should we take another short break?
Sure.
Truck Parking Club is a network of instantly reservable daily and monthly truck parking locations throughout the U.S. Truck Parking Club helps connect truckers to truck parking locations throughout the U.S. via truckparkingclub.com. Our networks is made up of property owners that have locations adequate for truck parking to list on the platform. This includes trucking companies, storage companies, CDL schools, trailer leasing companies, real estate investors, truck parking operators, and more. Go to truckparkingclub.com today. If you're a driver looking for a new trucking job, check out NCI. NCI offers the following: new Kenworth T680s, competitive wages, solo, team, and students welcome, plus a full benefit package for you and your family. Check them out today at 888-311-7076. That's 888-7076. And tell them Talk CDL sent you. All right, we're back.
We're back.
Hey, I don't normally bring up certain things in the news that are kind of crappy, but I thought I would bring this up real quick. It's just a short little thing I seen in Connecticut. I think it happened. I call it crapper truck flips. A septic truck flipped. I knew you'd get a kick out of that. I'm serious, though. It did happen. It said a septic truck rollover crash caused.
That's got to be shitty.
Yeah, it's really crappy news. But it says it caused delays on Interstate 91 north of Enfield, according to the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. The State Department of Transportation says traffic was backed up for miles in an area of exits 40 to 46. The crash was reported in the area of exit 45. Connecticut State Police say they were notified of the crash about 3:10 p.m. So it was pretty messy that day, I'm guessing. And it doesn't say that it was spilled all over the place. It doesn't say that it was a stinky situation. It just says that the septic truck rolled over, fuel was leaking. I don't know if, the contents came out, but if it did, I got to tell you, it was, a crappy day.
I would say so. And even if the contents did, that's another reason for the EPA or whatever, the environmental, because that's toxic stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and let's be honest. I've seen like rollovers of everything, beer trucks, everything flipped over.
Chickens.
I remember up in Mass, a lobster truck once flipped, and literally, I remember that it was loaded with lobsters. Cases of lobsters all over the place, and these were like live, and people were just
grabbing them, I would say.
Yeah, a lot of people were I heard about that day, and a lot of people were getting lobsters. But I would imagine that this truck, nobody was rushing to get whatever spilled out.
No, I wouldn't think so. Oh, no, that's just... Ugh.
So, anyways, moving on from that one, Ruth. Yeah, so, hey, just something I want to talk about today, just to touch on it. I seen a thing about yellow freight. Yellow, I don't even know what they're even being called now. Yellow, I think they're being called. Yeah, you know who Yellow is. They're just gigantic.
Right.
Versus the Union. And I wrote a few things down, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it, talk about it for a few minutes. It says, under one Yellow, nearly 1,000 drivers will see their jobs drastically change. It says Jaludai, I'm not even sure if I pronounced this guy's name right. It says, who drives for Yellow's YRC Freight, and is based in Maybrook, New York. It says about 75 miles north of New York City. He is paid for every mile he runs. It says during a May to June pay period. It says according to pay stubs, Jalaudai, or again, I don't want to insult the guy by not pronouncing his name right. It says he earned $36 an hour before taxes, and it says he doesn't usually unload freight. So, I mean, and that's a pretty good wage.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, but now I'm going to tell you something. He lives 75 miles north of New York. I will guarantee you $36 an hour is not making $1 million up there. You know damn well with the taxes and how everything costs up there, it's insane.
Yeah, but he's outside the city.
It doesn't matter. New York itself is crazy with prices. You need $36 an hour to live up there. You're not going to survive on well, I'm going to show you something. I did the math. Let me scroll down to the math. At $36 an hour, if you just got 40 hours for the week, you made $1,440. Minus taxes, you'd bring home $1,000. Okay, bring home $1,000 for a trucker is not a lot of money, especially in New York. You know damn well what his mortgage or his rent or whatever he's paying is costing. And besides, if you've been paying this guy this much, then you need to keep paying him. Okay? If he got 10 hours of overtime, that would be $54 an hour. That would give him another $540. So he'd have about $1,980. Just under $2,000 with 10 hours of overtime. And so till they take your taxes out, you're probably down to $1,500. What do you think $2,000 minus taxes is going to be in New York? I mean, honestly, I would say at least $500 coming out of $2,000, wouldn't you think?
You have union dues too.
I mean, most people pay at least 25 to 30%. So even at 25%, and union dues are not that much.
No, it just was something that came in my head.
So anyways, it says this. It says, under one Yellow, Gelati would be likely converted to a new role called utility driver, where he would be expected to handle freight and take more local jobs. See, what's happening is, I didn't tell you this yet, but Yellow is looking to consolidate. And Yellow had bought out Holland, which is a good company. They bought out New Penn, which was a good company. And so they took on all these companies, and what happened was, and this is where they got into troubles. They bought out a bunch of companies, and with the companies came terminals and facilities. So with those facilities, they were overlapping. Like, for example, you might have a yellow freight terminal, okay, and I'm just going to use Reading, Pennsylvania, for example. I know there's a new terminal there. I don't know if for sure there's a yellow freight terminal there, but I'm pretty sure there's one in Allentown, which is just up the street from Reading. It's really not that far.
Right. You'll have like a couple of terminals within a 60-mile radius.
Well, even as in the article, it's a really big article. I don't want to read the whole thing. It states there's some that are 2 miles apart. Like in Kansas, I think they mentioned one that's only 2 miles from one, like a yellow facility and maybe a Holland. I'm not sure if it was Holland for sure, just as an example, where they're that close together. So yellow is trying to say, we need to consolidate. And I guess right now they're looking to consolidate 24 of 300 terminals. They're looking to chop out 24 terminals, which would really yield them some money.
Yeah, sell the building, right?
Sell the building. Okay, but here's the problem. It says they're wanting to do this, and so what's going to happen to guys like Gelati, he would be converted to a new title called utility driver. It says he would have to take on his hourly rate that he typically only earns while waiting at a door. While waiting to be loaded, he's only getting $27 an hour.
So they want to drop him from 36 while driving to 27 all the time?
Yes, that's exactly what they're wanting to do. Not just to this guy, to all drivers that they're converting.
I sense a union strike.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. The union is definitely like, no, we're not going to do that to these drivers.
Right. You can't do that. You can't change them that drastically.
And I know there's a lot of guys out there going, oh, who cares? They're the freaking union. Let them go bust. Well, that's, honestly, truly, here's a truck driver, a brother trucker that's making $36 an hour. He's been there, I guess he's been there quite a long time, and he's built himself up to $36 an hour while he's driving. And they're wanting to cut him down to 27. It says Yellow is seeking to convert about 1,000 out of 6,000 line haul truck drivers to this role. So 1,000 of these guys are about to take almost a $10 an hour pay cut. It says, but then it goes on to say, but they're getting about $1.77 raise. So not on the $36. So they're looking to give these guys a dollar something hour raise on top of their 27 that they're looking to steal from them. Personally, I call it stealing. They're looking to take. These are loyal drivers that have been with them, and now they're looking to cut their wages. Go ahead.
Well, it sounds like they're dropping them. Like if they're getting 27 and then they're giving them a dollar something in a raise. So just say like 29, they're going to be getting then from the 36, they're still losing $7 an hour.
Right. Yeah. And basically, yeah, you're right.
But you also said that he didn't have to touch freight and now he's going to have to?
Yes. Now he has to also unload.
Is he going to get paid for that unloading?
That I don't know. Is there a different hourly rate? See, what they're trying to do is do what they're calling super regional now. So they're trying to retitle everything. And to be honest with you, listen, it still takes the same amount of drivers to get the freight delivered. So what's happening is they're trying to retitle things, chop out some terminals, and they're gonna lay off X amount of drivers. Okay. Also, not drivers, but dock workers are losing their jobs.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. So I do agree. Now listen, let me tell you this. I do 100% agree that if you have two terminals within a couple miles of each other, you really do need to straighten that out.
Yeah. So in fact, if they want to really make money, instead of selling the terminal, turn it into truck parking.
I mean, that's an idea. Listen, I wrote a few notes down. Yellow's been in business for 94 years. They're $1.5 billion in debt right now. Okay. It says they received a $700 million loan during COVID, and which, of course, they paid back $56 million of it. So they basically still have about a $650 million debt to the government. Okay. It says Teamster General President Sean O'Brien said Yellow claims they will be bankrupt if the consolidation doesn't happen by August. So this is what the Teamster O'Brien said, that Yellow claims that they're going to go out of business. And Yellow has been crying they're going to go out of business for many years.
Oh, yeah. I at least know of 10.
Yeah. In fact, in 2009, when the economy was bad, they actually were really close to filing bankruptcy back then. It says they're basically wanting to shut down 24 facilities. And again, you know why. To me, I'm cool with facilities being shut down. I am. Unfortunately, the guys that are running the forklifts are probably going to lose their job. Okay, because my guess is they won't have room to bring them over 5 miles down the road. Maybe they will. I don't know that part. But the truckers that are running this freight, for them to chop these guys $7 to $10 an hour, I don't believe in that, and neither does the union. So the union is saying, no, we're not going to do that. And so it's going to be a big fight in order to see what happens. Personally, they said that they've already done the West Coast. So like California and all that, they've already done this where they took out the terminals that, they deemed, okay, we'll close this one and operate out of this one. And they've already converted drivers out there, I guess, to this new utility driver title. And they said that now they're seeing profit in those terminals. Okay, understandable. But there's got to be a way that if the driver has reached a certain rate, a certain wage, and he's not going to be compensated, okay, in this new title, I almost think that the law, hopefully, is on these drivers' side.
I think that the union will definitely stand by their drivers. I mean, I understand the facility shutting down and consolidating, but like you said, it would stink to have these personnel in that facility lose their job. It would be nice if they can combine them to the other facility somehow, find a place for them, or give them the option, to leave. But I bet they can still get a good profit by turning it into, some of them, truck parking, because it is such a necessity. And if you have a whole open facility, especially if it's fenced in, you could get companies that would easily give you a monthly rate to let them park their trucks there. So it'd be something that they should definitely look into.
Yeah, so I'm just doing the math. So $29 an hour, like you said, they're going to lose $9 but get a $1.77 raise. So even if they're getting $29 an hour now instead, so they're going to go from like $1,440, 40 hours a week, down to $1,160. So they're going to take about an $800 a month pay cut for their same regular 40-hour week,
plus touching freight.
I mean, and you look at this, right? I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that are not union that are actually making, decent money as truck drivers. But for a truck driver, if you just had a 40-hour week at $1,160, till you taxed it, he's under $1,000, and $29 an hour times 0.5 is, let's see, another $14.50 an hour. So $14.50, okay, plus 29 is $43 an hour times 10 would be another $430. So if you did a 50-hour week, you'd have $1,160 and another $430, okay, plus $1,160. You're looking at $1,160 plus $430. I'm just roughly. So about $1,600 minus taxes. Now they're bringing home $1,200. I know companies right now that drivers are bringing home, $1,000 to $1,300 every week clear. That's after taxes, and they're not union. Mm-hmm. And my whole point is, to take these guys and make them go backwards in wages. I know ever since COVID and the rates were really high and then they dropped, I know a lot of trucking companies are trying to bring guys' wages down. Okay. And a lot of them have. Like a lot of those companies that were paying 70, 80, 90 cents a mile, a lot of companies have gone down to 60 cents a mile, 65 cents a mile, even 55 cents a mile. And those are the drivers that are getting the miles. Mm-hmm. It's a shame that they had to be chopped like that. But to chop a guy's hourly rate, honestly, that's actually been with you for a long time. I just don't buy that. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to tell you right now, his wages had nothing to do with COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, no, he didn't have anything to do with it at all, period, whether it be his wages or, what he did as his job description.
Right. And here's the other thing. Inflation is going through the roof.
I know, it's crazy.
People are paying $1 million for everything. Eggs keep fluctuating from $2 to $5. You know what I mean? It's like one week you walk. All I'm saying is, who's getting all that profit?
The man.
Right, exactly. So somewhere along the line, you cannot just go and take from a guy that's actually, I just think you can't, if you built your wages up, and like I said, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but if you literally, before COVID, were making this kind of wage.
Can we use a different term?
Beat. Oh.
See, I like horses, so I don't like when you say that one. So can we think of something
why
else?
Where do you think beat a dead horse came from? I'm going to guess probably in the cavalry when they were riding so hard that the horse probably died and you're trying to whip him to get up and keep going. That would be my guess where that term came from, trying to beat a dead horse.
Still don't like the imagery.
Trying to get him going.
I still don't like the imagery.
Okay.
Let's say beat a snake.
I like beating snakes.
Beat a dead snake.
Anyways, so I guess we'll see how this plays out in the end with Yellow. And yeah, it's pretty much the podcast this week. It's been a kind of a humdrum week in trucking. I think that summer's about to kick in. Is it? What's the summer? The 21st? Isn't it like the 21st?
Yeah, it's this week. The first day of summer will be this week.
Yeah, the 21st of June is the first day of summer. And I think around the 21st of December is the first day of winter.
Yeah.
Something like that it goes. So everybody's gearing up. You truckers are about to take your summer vacations, get to the beach. Hey, can I remind truckers of one thing?
Sure.
Yeah. Try to keep your bobtail off the beach. Every year, a couple truckers end up sinking in the sand. There's a thing called sugar sand, and there's a thing called pack sand. If you get in sugar sand on the beach, there's a good chance that you're going to be stuck. Now, I will give you some advice. If you do decide, hey, I'm going to be really cool, I'm going to get on South Padre Island, or I'm going to get on Daytona, where places where you're allowed to drive on the beaches. If you decide to get on a beach, especially the Outer Banks, you get up there, and all of a sudden you realize you go to pull out and your tractor's stuck. There's a real simple trick without having to call a wrecker service. Drop about 20 pounds out of your tractor tires, out of your drive tires. In fact, even maybe more with a semi, and you should be able to just drive right out of any stuck sugar sand. It's a trick that everybody knows that lives near beaches, but most guys that show up and fall asleep on the beach and then go to pull out and they're stuck.
It ruins their day.
Yeah, it'll ruin your day if you've got to call your dispatcher and say, hey, I'm
going to be late.
Yeah, can you get me a wrecker? I'm stuck on the beach. I'm literally I'm on level ground and I can't get out. I promise you, all you got to do is let out some air and you'll be able to roll. Ruth Ann, that's the podcast. What do you got?
Well, first I want to say, since this is going to come out before Father's Day, happy Father's Day to all you truckers out there and fathers of truckers and fathers.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, and future fathers. Yeah. All you young truckers that are, haven't found love yet, or maybe you're just getting married, Lord willing, you'll have a couple babies. So happy future Father's Day. You know, we got a freaking holiday for everything in this country. I mean, you name it.
We do.
I mean, there's so many holidays. I don't see how we get any work days in anymore.
No, Monday's going to be a holiday. Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. I mean, I'm just saying, it used to be like what? Veterans Day, 4th of July, Memorial Day.
We still have those.
Thanksgiving. I'm just saying, they were the main ones. And then all of a sudden, there's a holiday for everything in this country.
It used to be like 8 to 12 or 10 to 12 that we had in a year when you added like all of our majors. Now it's like 20.
20. I'll bet you there's a lot more than that. It seems like
we'll have to sit down and count them.
Yeah. So, anyways, what do you got for us this weekend?
My word of the day.
Which is by
Word Genius.
Word Genius.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Labile.
What?
Labile.
Labile?
Yep, I'm gonna play it again.
Yeah, sure.
Labile.
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 Yes, labile. Do it one more time. If you don't mind, I'm going to turn the mic up for you.
Labile.
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 What does it even mean?
Liable to change or easily altered. The second definition is, okay, I'm going to read the full part of it, but it's simplified at the last two words. Of or characterized by emotions that are easily aroused or freely expressed and that tend to alter quickly and spontaneously. The easy way of saying it, emotionally unstable.
Really? So if you're labile, you're
either easily altered as far as like, you know, unhuman or whatever. But if they want to label you as being human, it's emotionally unstable. You're labile.
See, now, that kind of brings up a conversation from yesterday.
No.
It does.
No.
So Ruth Ann has this little mini schnauzer, and she takes it in the store with her. She's one of those little ladies that'll take it in the store. And it says, what does it say on the side of her patch? Emotional support dog, right? So if you would put labile on there instead, because to me, I would never want to be labeled emotionally I need emotional support. My doggy gets. I'm just saying.
Hey, she is great. You have no idea how many people have felt better after they cuddled her.
I understand that, but I'm just saying. I would, if me personally, I will not. I would never want to walk a dog in a store that says it's almost like there's the guy with the emotional support dog. Watch, he doesn't pull a gun out or something. He's
PTSD.
unstable.
Hey,
he's labile.
A lot of vets have PTSD, and a lot of them have emotional support dogs, and they happen to be like shepherds and stuff. Just saying.
I know, man. I'm just saying. I wouldn't want the label. I wouldn't want the label. I'm emotionally in need of something.
You don't want to be labeled libel?
Exactly.
Labile.
I wouldn't want to.
Labile.
Yeah, no. Hey, Ruth Ann, we're out of here.
Peace.
Peace. Praise the Lord.